Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running and nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Ben.
And I'm your co-host, Carissa.
Perfect. And hey, everyone, welcome into the program. So today on the show, we're just going to quickly run through our usual kind of opening, and then we will, of course, get to our guests. So in the second part of the program, computer and technology news, that's where we cover everything and anything having to do with new products, services, announcements, policy, blah, blah, blah. Pretty much anything newsworthy, we try to gather it up and present it to you in the second half of the show. But in the first half, we have the one, the only Humanscale. If you haven't heard of the company, where have you been? But, they do a lot of great work when it comes to ergonomics, and they have tons of different desk chairs. We're going to be talking about some of the new peripherals. Really, this is super relevant, as I think, home offices, a lot of people were just kind of sent home, and you make do with what you have. And I think that fortunately for a lot of people, they have found that home offices are here to stay. So having a company on to talk about, what goes into a good ergonomic setup for a home office, this is going to be a lot of fun. But before we do that, computeramerica.com, that's where you'll find everything, including a link to our guest website. So if you're driving, if you're busy, don't worry about it. We'll have a link right there at computeramerica.com. or humanscale.com, of course. Let's see, there's also podcast show notes. There's past shows, future shows, video archives, articles, reviews, all that kind of thing. Everything that we do here on the show, you can find over at Computer America. Find us on social media, blah, blah, blah. Carissa, unless there's anything else, I think we are ready to go.
I'm so ready.
All right, perfect. So everyone, once again, welcome onto the program. Humanscale, they make a ton of different ergonomic, but ergonomic doesn't have to mean completely lacking in form and, completely lacking in design, because I got to say, these are some of the best looking, kind of pieces of office equipment that I've ever seen, and I'm really happy to have on the program with us. First, two guests. First, we're going to have Sergio Silva. He is the design director for Humanscale, and then second, we're going to have, of course, Allan Escoto, who is the product director for Humanscale. And so, Sergio, Allan, welcome onto Computer America. How you doing?
Hi,
Thank you.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure. Yeah, and I promise that we'll structure this a little better so I don't have you two talking over each other. But again, thank you so much for coming on. So I think I'll direct this to Sergio first. And Sergio, if you wouldn't mind giving us a little bit of background on the company Humanscale and how you found yourself working there. Have you always been in tech? Is your background in something else? Yeah.
Yeah. So sure. I am an industrial designer by training. I've been at Humanscale for 14 years. My focus as a designer at Humanscale has been in the lighting program. And late last year, I stepped into my current role as design director. Humanscale, in terms of a little bit of background on Humanscale, it was founded in 1983 by CEO Bob King. We are a global company with over 1,500 employees with presence in over 55 countries. We are headquartered in New York City, which is where our design studio is located. Since we were founded, Humanscale has pioneered the healthy and active workspace. Today, we're the leader in ergonomic products for all workspaces and work styles, from products like seating, sit stand, monitor arms, and much more.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to hit every one of those kind of product categories, and we'll talk about, of course, the benefits and why people, why we are having our listeners listen about ergonomics, because I think this is, just kind of like stretching and kind of being healthy in your everyday life. This is kind of goes along with that. So, but before we go any further, Allan, I wanted you to give a little bit of your background as well.
Yes, thank you. So Allan here. I'm a global product director at Humanscale. I manage our monitor arms and ergonomic tools. So that includes products like foot rockers, CPU holders, and keyboard systems. I've also been in the company for quite some time. I've been at Humanscale for almost 9 years now. I started in the company actually within marketing, and then took on several product management roles. Some of those include within seating and lighting categories. So I've been very lucky to pretty much experience and manage quite a bit of products here.
Yeah, that's certainly a lot to take on. I'm sure that you've learned a lot of, a lot about each one of these products because, like I said, I think that some people come at this and they just think a desk is a desk, a monitor is a monitor, and, you do with what you have. But we're going to talk about, kind of some of the benefits. So let's talk about, I guess, and we'll start this question here. Technology incorporated into Humanscale's products. Do you have any products specifically come to mind when you try to have new technology? And this is maybe I can even narrow this down a little bit and go with like desks, because I think the desk. I don't know the full history. Maybe it goes back tens of thousands of years of having a place that you sit at and you put things on and you are productive at a desk. How do, and I guess we'll start with Sergio. How
Sure.
do you go about improving something as simple as a desk, a chair? What are some of your goals when you approach these things?
Sure. So as we all know these days, the sit stand is a big theme for everyone, because we've discovered that sitting stagnantly for a long period of time is bad for you. So sit stand program is very important to us, and we have a range of products. Some of them are the conversion space, meaning something that goes on top of your existing desk. But we are really very proud of our float. Our float table, because it has a very simple interface that quickly adjusts up and down, and in doing so, you are encouraging the user to sit and stand more frequently. We find that with a lot of electric tables, they are either too slow or too noisy, and we get feedback from some of our customers that they end up just forgetting to use them or desensitized to use them. So we're very proud of that mechanism that we built into the float that just seamlessly and quickly adjusts to where you want to go very quickly.
That is, and I got to say that while I haven't had the privilege of trying out Humanscale's, I do have a sit-stand desk, and unfortunately, it doesn't work with the studio here in the green screen because it's a whole thing. But I do find myself, sometimes, kind of approaching my desk and putting it into the stand position, and it's a nice mix-up, and I'm wondering what some of the feedback that you get for people that are maybe skeptical at first, and then they're like, why? You said it's kind of all the rage and it's a trending feature now. Why do you think it's trending? Is it about productivity? Is it about comfort? What do you think is like the sit-stand dynamic?
I think the main driver is health consciousness. Honestly, I think there's been a sort of an awakening in terms of how long we're sitting stagnantly at our desks and plugging away, and there are countless studies coming out now that lay out just how detrimental that can be to your health to be sitting without moving for long periods of time. And we work with we have an internal ergonomics team who are experts and are continually consulting the literature, the studies that are being done by third parties, and are following all the statistics. And we consult with them to make sure that we implement all of that data and all of that knowledge into our products as we work on new things.
I gotcha. And of course, Allan, when you have one of these new products come out, because, as you just said, it looks like the eFloat is, kind of the eFloat and the eFloat Lite, eFloat Flex, seem to be the new products. Allan, I mean, when you see these things, how do you kind of, how do you figure out where to round out your product line? And I guess, do you have people that you talk to, or how do you come up with, I guess, kind of new ideas and do this kind of thing?
Yeah, so I mean, generally, right. So Sergio's touched base on a very key important point there, which is our consulting team, right? So they're heavily involved with doing research. We also look at other organizations as well, like the ISO. They're well-respected ergonomics organization, which gives a lot of recommendations around how a product should be developed, or what are some of the key things that we should be looking for. So that's very important. And actually, one of the key points that we took into account as well when it comes down to the ProClick mouse, which I know we'll be talking about later on in this call.
Yeah, we definitely will. And by the way, going to humanscale.com, you of course have all your products there, but I see also that there is there's a tab for consulting, which makes sense because, an organization of your size is probably very adept at approaching, not just individuals, but of course entire corporations and, saying, hey, we need 500 desks. And, I guess you're able to approach a wide range of clients and be able to kind of outfit them with good ergonomic tools.
Yeah, and I'd also add that, in terms of paying attention to new technologies, the design team, we work closely with a group of very talented engineers, and together we collectively keep a pulse on what's out there, what's new and exciting, and how we can implement it into our products in a way that benefits and enhances the product and the user experience. It's always a collaboration between different teams, including product management, in order to assess what the opportunities are. They are responsible for getting feedback directly from our customers through our sales teams, and to assess whether those are human scale opportunities, because that's an important consideration as well.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, in terms of technology that we've implemented into some of our products, and maybe I'm pivoting a little bit here, but in other product lines like our lighting, I'm very proud of the way that we've paid attention to advancements in LED technology, for instance, and implemented that into our LED task lights. I think that's a great example because we've maximized the efficacy of our luminaires by having engineers that are currently, in tune with what's out there, and fitting that into a super thin, low profile form factor, because that's an important part of our design ethos, and delivering a product that has a glare-free light source. I'm thinking of the Nova LED task light here as an example, which also comes with a wireless charging base, to help consolidate the workspace, reduce clutter, and reduce the number of outlets needed. So that's just one example. That we have a whole range of docks for our monitor arm line that, Allan, maybe you can speak to a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was actually going to chime in regards to that as well. So our docking stations, right, like the Connect 2, they could seamlessly be integrated into any Humanscale monitor arm as part of the base. So what really makes us unique in this phase is really our innovation in split dock technology. We call it split dock because our docking stations have a top hub, which sits on the user's desk and provides immediate access to data, charging, and audio ports. And then we have a bottom dock, which goes underneath the desk and off the workspace in order to eliminate desktop cable clutter. So the dock underneath is where users would connect to permanent devices, which don't require daily accessibility, like an USB connection to a keyboard, for example.
Right.
So this is obviously clearly very important in eliminating desktop clutter, which increases usable workspace and cleans up the environment overall.
And again, from installing one of these desks myself, I have not seen something like the monitor arm that doubles as a docking station. That is a great feature. You said cable clutter. No matter how hard I try, I will always have cable clutter. Something like this would probably help a little bit, but that's just kind of me. And a great kind of great deviation into these different products, and we're going to get back to them in just a second. But I had a quick question for Allan when it comes to current events. Things are a little crazy with obviously COVID. The workplace is changing. Like I said, more home offices, and especially I see here that you service, kind of places like healthcare, which is super important lately. And I guess as a product director, has there been any kind of rapid change or shift into offering things like surfaces that are easy to clean, or things that you don't have to touch as much, or for home offices maybe more compact and things like that? How have recent events been for designing new products?
Absolutely. So we have. I'll definitely leave a little bit of this answer to Sergio, but we definitely have seen a huge increase in users actually asking for certain materials to be utilized in our products, so that it is easy to clean, or something that you have a one-touch adjustability for a product like the monitor arm, for example, which I do manage. We have a handle where we're looking to actually incorporate a material where you're basically able to move the entire arm by touching one specific area, and by including that material within that component, you like I mentioned earlier, you have a one-touch point where you're basically eliminating any additional components that the user has to touch, and thereby eliminating any additional points that have to be cleaned up. So, Sergio, I'll leave this one up to you. I know you had a couple of points there as well.
Yeah. We've certainly been looking at that. It's something that, especially at the early part of the health crisis, a lot of customers were asking about, and we even had we organized several webinars with an expert in the field that provided a lot of guidance for us in terms of what we can do to keep the workplace safe. One example that you already scrolled to on the website there is the WellGuard private separation panels, right, that we launched in record time. It was within a period of 4 to 6 weeks that we brought this to market, because we really saw that there was a real need and a real opportunity for us to help our customers prepare their offices for having their employees return to work. And along those lines, we are currently exploring other applications like high touch surfaces, and what are the materials that we can use that reduce that have germicidal properties that can reduce contagion.
And it kind of thinking back to what you said way at the beginning with kind of the company history, saying that you guys are from New York. I almost want to say that's very obvious when I look at pretty much all your products. Like even the acrylic and separation panels, they're very stylized. They're very sleek, very modern, very New York penthouse kind of design to them. So when you're engineering these things, I know that from an engineering standpoint, it'd be so easy to just make a brick that lit up with LEDs and worked as a light. But design, kind of design wise and aesthetic wise, you've really kind of worked on this a lot, I can tell.
Thank you very much. That's a really nice. It's really encouraging to hear that. We do put a lot of work into it. It makes for interesting dynamics between the design team and the engineering team at times. but we have a solid team, and I always like to say that I have a team of designers that are very mechanically adept, and we have a large group of engineers that are design savvy. and design sensitive, and they understand that the importance of having a wow factor attached to a product that makes it desirable.
Can definitely tell that, indeed. And by the way, this may be a little deviation, and again, we're going to touch on a lot of these products. But one of the ways that I was kind of put in touch with Humanscale was the fact that you had this collaboration with Razer. Razer, they've been on the show a number of times, and they're big in the PC gaming market. They're known for, well, where a lot of your products are, very sleek. There's a lot of stainless steel, a lot of white, a lot of black, a lot of kind of clean colors. Razer is kind of the opposite. There are a lot of dark colors, and there's a lot of RGB. Unfortunately, I have not seen a single RGB standing desk in your lineup, but no, with Razer, you have decided to, I guess, kind of introduce, have a little bit of that cross-pollination, and I'm wondering, I guess, kind of what was the impetus behind Razer and Humanscale, and this is for either one of you. What kind of brought that along, and what were the goals of the collaboration?
Yeah, Allan, I'll let you take it.
Yeah, definitely. Great question. I like this question because I was heavily involved in with how the entire partnership really came to be. So it's very personal to me. So here's the story. About four years ago, right? I had just transitioned to my new role. At the moment, that was managing our ergonomic peripherals. I sat down with our CEO, Bob King, to really start brainstorming and thinking ahead and road mapping really what the future of the mousing business was going to be. So, at the moment, we had a great ergonomic design with a product named the Switch Mouse, but we did understand that it was time to start thinking about an upgrade, right? So our ultimate goal here was to introduce a new productivity mouse with improved technology, and one which stayed true to our ergonomic principles. So I thought no one better to partner up with on a new technology solution than a top-notch gaming company like Razer, as you mentioned. So Razer is well respected in its field. They have launched many other mice and peripherals in the past, right? So they already have vast experience in that field. If you think about Razer also, they make a lot of precision technology. Obviously, that immediately comes to mind because of the requirements of gaming. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that we incorporate that in our product. And we reached out to Razer's CEO over LinkedIn. We connected immediately. They put us in touch with their design studio. And then this is how the ProClick was created. You mentioned something in regards to coming to a compromise, right? So Razer is known for their brighter colors, which is typical for gaming, right? But we did have to soften up a little bit. We did have those conversations. Obviously, when you look at an office, you want colors that are more toned down. So that's absolutely how we got to the balance, and we have a product like ProClick.
Yeah, and of course. And of course, anything Razer that they would typically put out would stand out very quickly in any kind of work environment. Maybe seem unprofessional or even distracting. This, though, it's and of course, anyone watching the video portion, you can see it up there. Very, very clean lines, white, gray, and kind of wireless and also corded. That's super important for people who work long hours. I'm Sergio or Allan. Have you had a chance to use it? Because it looks comfortable. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yes, I use it every day, and I'm very happy with it. Yeah.
I'm using one right now. I've definitely working from home has allowed me to use it pretty much every day here as well. So definitely very comfortable, and where we want it to be.
I'm a little kind of lost to this one because I've been using gaming mice for as long as I've been using computers, almost ever since like an old HP. I've had some form of gaming mouse, and I'm used to precision. I'm used to sensitivity. If you touch the mouse, then your mouse kind of cursor is going to fly across the screen. Have you found that kind of any of the elements that make a good gaming mouse also carry over to a good productivity device?
I would say yes. I think that one of the things that's unique about this mouse is the combination of those technological features with a form factor and an aesthetic that is, that transcends the gaming culture a little bit, like you mentioned, and I also understand. We use the word compromise when it comes to collaborations, which is accurate, right? It's the right word to use, but in my mind, it's actually not a compromise, because this is a perfect example of a collaboration that ended up, I think, making a stronger product than if we had set out to do it on our own.
And no, makes perfect sense. And so, and of course, I think this works out really well for Razer as well, because they just, they're mice that didn't have RGB and weren't as, I guess, kind of stylized, you could say. They were on the lower end, and even their $20, $30 mice are really, really good, but I feel like this one is going to offer, again, those ergonomics that Humanscale is known for, but I think it also in a way rounds out Razer's product offerings. So it's my point there is that it's something that not even Razer offers. So
yeah, it's a win-win, and good on you, Allan, for making it happen.
Definitely. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, and of course it's definitely something different. And by the way, just so everyone knows, starts here at about $100, which for a good ergonomic mouse, you've already hit that price point. And then of course with Razer and the Razer style, so $100 is definitely kind of where it needed to be at. So good job on keeping the price down.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with that being said, and by the way, just real quick, just have to bring in because you said that you did have another mouse available from Humanscale, and I found it here, the Switch mouse. I assume you call it the Switch mouse because it does this super strange elongation kind of thing, where I guess for people with different size hands, obviously Deborah in accounting will not have the same size as Bill in billing or whatever. Talk about this design of the Switch mouse just real quick.
Definitely. So there are a few things within the Switch mouse. So the reason why it was named Switch mouse actually has a button at the bottom that you're able to switch from right hand to left hand. So it pretty much accommodates pretty much the entire population there. Now, there are several things that really make it unique, right? So first thing is we have a hand angle that we promote within the 30 to 45 degree pronation. So the product was certainly designed that way. To put the hand in that neutral posture. Also has a feature at the front where it allows the user to, adjust it to different hand sizes as well. So you alluded to that as well earlier. So pretty much the idea there was to create an ergonomic solution that was as comfortable as possible, but also as ergonomic as possible. So we're covering a wide range of users.
Makes perfect sense. And of course that's that is another product that obviously you've had for some time, but now you of course have the collaboration with Razer. So there's the mice, and both of you, I want to thank you so much that we kind of got to most of our points, but one thing I wanted to do, this might take up another 5-10 minutes, but I wanted to kind of go over and if you want to, this is going to be completely both of your opinions, but if you wanted to talk about some of the standout or your favorite products in the different products line you have between chairs, monitor arms, desk, things like that, lighting, of course, and we could just kind of go and hit some of your guys' favorites when it comes to the different Humanscale products. And I think we'd start with chairs, if you don't mind.
I really like that you started with chairs because I was going to go directly to the Freedom headrest. It's the chair that I sit in every day, and I find it indispensable. I'm in my mid-40s now, Ben, and
so young.
There are certain so when I'm sitting, I find the headrest to be a really indispensable part of this feature in this chair, because it really supports the way that you sit in a natural position. And it's the chair that made Humanscale what Humanscale is today, with the alignment of vision that Bob King had for an ergonomics company, combined with the vision that Niels Different, the legendary industrial designer that partnered with Humanscale with these task chair designs. This was really a pivotal moment for the company, and it's become a classic, an iconic design in the industry. So I would be remiss not to mention the runaway hit here.
Right. And Allan, do you have a favorite chair, or is it again the flagship?
Definitely. So they all work perfectly for me. I've used pretty much all of them. I have 2 different styles at home. At the office, I do utilize the Freedom headrest as well. Great product, very comfortable. It does the job perfectly. So yes.
There you go. Yeah, and of course, anyone out there, we're of course going to include a link to all the different, to all the different chairs. I got to say though, personally, one that obviously stands out is going to be Balo. Real quick.
Yeah, so Balo is fun, one of our more fun designs that we worked on in collaboration with Don Chadwick. It's a little bit of a wild card in the product line, admittedly, but we got a lot of good responses when we launched it. It's obviously meant for active seating. It's meant to be in the same category as the saddle and pony stools, which are more
right.
short-term seating while you're at a specific task, or maybe in a short meeting with a small round table. I find them very useful. I find that going back to what we touched on at the beginning of this call, not sitting stagnantly for long periods of time is important. Going from sit to stand is important, but I've actually incorporated a stool into that equation as well, because with a pony stool, for instance, I find that I sit more actively. I'm engaging my core muscles in a way that I'm not when I'm sitting in reclining. And there's something about sitting where you're sitting at a slightly higher posture, and your legs are not 90 degree, your thighs are not 90 degree or parallel to the floor, let's say. It really facilitates and promotes a postural alignment. So we try to incorporate all of these options into our seating line to accommodate different needs.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, the employees over at Humanscale probably have some of the best core strength in the industry. So that's...
we are very spoiled.
That's very good. So, and by the way, so they're seating, and again, a lot of different options, and everything from, desk chairs to just kind of standard office chairs, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and continue on to monitor arms. And this is something that, we've had entire shows around just talking monitor arms, and there's multi, single, kind of oversized monitor arms. And, really you can buy like Visa adapters and get a pipe from, kind of Home Depot or Lowe's and bolt it onto your desk and call it a day. But I think the technology that goes into a good monitor arm, there's some sense of form and design that you guys obviously have, but the ability to smoothly, quickly, silently adjust your monitor is, I guess, something that a lot of people aren't, use the word spoiled, so now it's in my head. A lot of people aren't spoiled by just a quick adjust monitor arm. So any favorite product there? Because I know that we talked about the M2 Connect and I'm sorry, the M Connect 2 and things like that. But yeah, monitor arms.
Allan?
Yeah, definitely. So as far as, to answer your question, as far as favorite product, I mean, I think it really depends on your configuration at home, right? So if you have a single and your monitor weighs than 15 pounds, then your go-to would be the M2.1. If you have a product that you're only utilizing one monitor and you're going up to 28 pounds, then you would be utilizing our M8.1. And then if you have at least 2 screens, then you would be utilizing our crossbar, where you could have a dual version of that to mount 2 monitors, or we also offer the triple crossbar, where you could have 3 monitors side by side. And then lastly, we have the M Flex, where you're able to mount up to 6 screens, And then on top of that, we spoke about our docking stations, which seamlessly integrate into our monitor arms. You could do so as well with any of those arms. So it really depends on the setup of the user, but we have pretty much everything to accommodate to all different scenarios.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
To sort of round that up, to your point, Ben, the ease of adjustment is critical to our ergonomic mission, because if you have a monitor arm that is not easily adjustable, the chances of you sitting at an improper posture increases dramatically. Where with a little bit of awareness in terms of how you should be sitting, and then a monitor that quickly adjusts where you are, it's a night and day difference. And we proud ourselves in saying all the time that we're not just making products, we're making tools that work with you, that adjust to the way you work.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm currently using a kind of a triple monitor setup with one main monitor, and I got to say, like the triple one is this giant bar, and you can kind of adjust them left and right on the bar, but to adjust the bar itself, you have to kind of go back, turn a knob, and loosen it up a little bit, and kind of pivot it only so much.
So you do that once a month?
If that, being able to kind of tilt it up and down is all I can do, because if it's standing or sitting position, so on and so forth. But the M Flex that you have with the 4 different setups that I assume are for like financial analysts or things like that. That's a severe setup. That is crazy. Yeah. But yeah, I've never seen a monitor arm that can adjust like that, where you have each one of these in an individual arm instead of one large bar or bracket.
Right.
Very, very cool. So there's that, and like you said, that's less of a favorite and more of a, what are your needs? And of course, you will fit that. So the desk, I noticed that you have kind of, the main desk is the float, and of course you have the eFloat Lite and the eFloat Flex, but to anyone out there who has never used a standing desk before, they're expensive. I know that, but man, they definitely change your workflow. And I'm assuming both of you have a standing desk, one of these float desks.
That's correct.
So yeah, perfect. And just real quick, I'm not seeing it here, but I'm sure that if I read a little bit closer, the mechanism motorized, or is there like a hand crank? Because I've seen both options as well.
So it's not motorized, but it's also not a hand crank in the conventional sense, where you would have to physically haul it all the way up. Mm-hmm. It's a counterbalanced mechanism that one of our crack engineers figured out that has a very complicated mathematical equation, but essentially it's counterbalanced with a very large spring inside of the crossbeam that works to make it feel like it's at a constant force as you go
like it's
up
floating.
And down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Makes perfect sense now. Yeah. and of course, I'm sure that somewhere in the design process, you put too big of a spring and the whole desk just popped off the
Oh, yeah.
legs.
We actually broke a window once.
That's not good. So, but you've hammered those kinks out.
That was in the experimental lab. Everyone was safe.
Okay. Perfect. So there's that. And by the way, just real quick, a lot of these products here, they have this sustainability certificates. We always like to point out when companies come on the program and they have any kind of green initiative or sustainability initiative that we are sure to mention it. What is the sustainability certificates that these products carry?
Right. So the very important point, actually, and we have a sustainability team that's headed by Jane Abernathy, who's been from the very beginning of the movement within Humanscale to become a more sustainable company. She's been spearheading all of the initiatives. And Float, we're very proud to say, is certified in the Living Product Challenge. It's one of the first products in the contract furniture industry, along with the Smart Ocean chair, to be certified with Living Product, which is huge. I wish I could speak more in detail to the criteria that goes into, but I can say that it's very strict, and it's essentially the goal is to be not just net carbon neutral, but to be carbon positive, to have offset programs embedded into the manufacturing processes that help give back to the environment as opposed to take from the environment. That's the crux of it.
super important. And of course, we have on a regular basis, we talk about e-waste, e-recycling, and of course, office products like this. Being able to include, I see here that things like including the, I can't say the ingredient list for a desk, but essentially what the desk is made of makes it all the more easy to recycle it. So things like that. So let's go ahead and fly through some of these. And although I wanted to touch on this because, Allan, you seem super excited for this, lighting. I know that we've already talked about the Nova, very sleek, that small, I almost want to say like paddle-like head that gives off tons of light. But you have Infinity, Horizon, Vessel, Element Disc, Element Vision, Element 790. Any of these really stand out, or people should really kind of take notice of as well?
Yeah, we have a very powerful message throughout all those lighting products. The one, I guess, pretty much have favorites all throughout, but the Infinity light is definitely one of my favorites. Great LED technology included within the product, and it's actually what I use at home here as well.
Very, very cool. And so, tons of lighting solutions. And again, they have a lot of those built in, kind of charging stations and wireless charging. Technology. You guys have really, really tried to incorporate the latest and greatest technology into a lot of your products. So there's things like cable management, keyboard systems that we could definitely talk about. But last things last, I wanted to talk about the software, because obviously a lot of these things, maybe there's some kind of app control, or maybe there's something that integrates. What kind of software is integrated into these products? What is this Ergo IQ? Nope. And that's for either one of you, of course.
Allan, do you have any notes on this? Well, the reason I ask is that this is actually slightly different. So this is driven entirely by our ergonomics team, and really wish we had one of our experts to speak to the development of this software.
From my understanding, just from a quick glance, it looks like you can kind of measure your posture, and of course, there's probably things where it kind of measures your phone, time you spent standing, sitting, and I'm guessing it would give you data back on how your workday kind of goes and things you can improve on, things like that. So obviously, I did not mean to stump you guys, and all the information's there at the website. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of wrap this up. But before we say goodbye, I'll start with Sergio. Is there anything that we didn't touch on, or anything that you wanted to kind of mention before we wrap this up?
I guess I would just mention a couple of notes on how we go about implementing ergonomics into our design process. Sure,
please.
And it really comes down to two words mainly. It's user testing, and we consult with the Ergo team, as I mentioned already, and we embed all of that data into our process. But nothing replaces the reiterative process and user testing and collecting as much unbiased feedback as possible. And we do that tirelessly until we arrive at something where we feel like, okay, then there's probably nothing more we can do here to improve upon this. It's a really critical part of our process. We typically have a lead designer and a lead engineer in charge of pushing and pulling in terms of striking a balance between what's important from a performance standpoint, what's important from a user experience standpoint, to arrive, ideally merge at a perfect harmony at the end of that road.
Like I said, it's probably not the easiest thing to, again, approach something like the chair, which I think a lot of people have tried to improve the chair and say, what can we add to it? But obviously, our understanding of ergonomics evolves all the time. And design-wise, you guys have definitely put a lot of effort into that. So, I'll give the same question to Allan. Is there anything that we didn't touch on, anything that you wanted to mention before we, kind of say goodbye?
Yeah, definitely. So I think we spoke as a whole, right, about all of our products, but really if we start getting into specifics, right, we look at monitor arms, for example. There's so much technology that's built in that it might not be evident to the eye at a first glance, but if things like spring mechanical designs that are incorporated within the products to make it adjust better. Things like smart stops to allow it to stop at a certain point and not be able to hit desks behind you or walls behind you, et cetera. Those are all things that we really think through within all of our designs. And definitely, I just want to mention that we do this for every single one of the products. So definitely key for our innovation.
Yeah, and I, one thing that has I think been very clear throughout this interview is that you guys did not just kind of throw something out there and say, hey, even something where you had to collaborate with Razer and say, we want to put something out. You still took the time and said, here's what here's what will help people get something done, or here's what people will definitely see an improvement on if they have a mouse, monitor arm, desk, chair, so on and so forth. That's been very clear, is that you guys put a lot of effort into this, and it shows. So, and I'll go ahead and let Sergio answer this. If people want to find out more information, where's the best place to go?
Humanscale.com.
Perfect. Yeah. And that's what I figured, of course. And hey, we're going to have a link to that over at computeramerica.com. So everyone, once again, we've been talking to Mr. Sergio Silva. He is the design director for Humanscale, and as well, Allan Escoto, who is the product director for Humanscale as well. Allan, and of course, Sergio, thank you so much for joining us here on Computer America.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. And so, yeah, we're going to be very, very rude and kick you out of the call, but I want to thank you again, and looking forward to speaking with you guys once more. So have a great day. Stay safe. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. And so there you go. And of course, you can find out more at computeramerica.com, where we'll have the show notes. And Carissa, I'm sorry. I know that I didn't let you, kind of jump in there, but I wanted to. Thank you for not crucifying me. But it's kind of hard with 2 additional guests on there. But hey, we're okay. And the interview went well. So, Carissa, before we move on from Humanscale, what'd you think? Because ergonomics it's not something that people talk about too often.
It's so important though, because I used to work in an office setting myself, even outside of my my home space, and having a good chair and a good mouse is a huge deal. And I also used to just take my gaming mice to work with me, so I had all of those extra buttons and stuff, and I also all the the responsiveness of the gaming mice and stuff like that. So I like seeing the collaboration between what your boss wants and kind of what's functional for the person actually using it. So that's really nice, and it looks like it's actually convertible between corded and wireless, which is interesting too. Yeah,
right there on the bottom, nestled inside of it, is that USB adapter, so it can be wireless, but of course it needs charging. There's the cord, and last but not least, hey, I think that people obviously do get used to using a gaming mouse. I have one with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other buttons on it. I can't imagine going back to kind of a left click, right click, scroll wheel kind of mouse.
It's so hard. It's impossible almost.
I definitely like my my programmable buttons, and of course, productivity wise, super important. So there you go. Once again, everyone, computeramerica.com. You can see the show notes there. Humanscale. I want to thank them so much for helping us out and coming on the show. So with that being said, Carissa, we have 10 minutes. You want to do some computer and technology news?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So everyone, computer and technology news brought to you by Computer America. And in proper host fashion, I have reviewed none of these stories. So Carissa, I'll let you pick the first one. Which one do you think we should start with?
Let's do this one about GM, since we talked about that other one yesterday.
We did indeed. So battery technology. Oh, yeah, there we go. Battery technology, always important. And man, CNET cannot just stop with the autoplay. With the autoplay videos. CNET, if you're listening, that's the only critique I have. No one likes autoplay. I know that the advertisers do, but man, oh man. Anyways, so there you go. GM shares more secrets of its Ultium battery technology, which, if you have been in the tech space for any amount of time, then you know that battery innovations happen every single month. but the battery that you have in your devices hasn't changed in 25 years. It's just the way it is. There's changes to batteries all the time, but nothing ever seems to get better. Maybe this could be a step in the right direction. So let's go and talk about this. GM is sharing more information about its upcoming Ultium battery, which, whoops, clicked the wrong link. Anyways, it's a system, a potentially transformative technology. Everything is potentially transformative with batteries. But anyways, that underpins the automaker's future electric vehicles. On Wednesday, GM announced a new wireless battery management system, which should improve scalability and simplify manufacturing, among other things. And I can just imagine, and kind of scrolling through a little bit here, again, being able to remove the batteries or a wireless battery management system. Let's see. So let's talk about the features, and then Chris and I will talk about this. But we're working with a company ironically called Analog Devices. GM has essentially figured out how to fit its battery packs with Wi-Fi. I guess that's important.
All right.
Yeah, they allow individual modules in the system to communicate through a wireless network instead of traditional cables. This reduces the amount of wiring needed in battery assembly by up to 90%, which reduces weight, cost, and results in a cleaner, easier to build battery. So if I'm getting this right, it seems like by traditional battery systems, and especially for cars, because, not unlike your laptop battery, they're pretty much the same thing. The only difference is that there are probably 100 laptop batteries all wired together to provide the same, kind of function, but on a much larger scale for a car, because a car is much bigger than a laptop. Carissa, it seems like they're reducing the complexity and the weight and everything by, if they can get everything to transmit wirelessly, they don't have to, 100 batteries don't have to all talk with each other through wires. And they could do so by one central computer, one central place. They all send the data, it's all processed, and then the computer sends back the signal saying, spend more of this battery, use less of this battery, so on and so forth. So I guess they're reducing a lot of the costs by making them wireless batteries.
But also, a lot of the work that goes into it, because you don't have to deal with all of that wiring and stuff like that. Yeah, you might need to equip the thing that you're trying to talk to with the battery, but it's still going to be far less bulky.
Yeah, it's definitely the difference between having 100, wired computers and then 100 computers just sitting there all plugged into the same power source, but at least talking individually. You don't have to have them all wired together. So let's go ahead and continue on with this. They're saying that they help balance battery chemistry right down to individual cell groups to improve performance, like I was just saying. Periodic health checks can extend the life of the pack because, let's say you have 100 of those individual cells. If one of those cells goes bad, maybe they can replace an individual cell instead of sending the entire 100 cell pack in for replacing. They can just kind of target each individual non-healthy cell. So that extends the life as well and reduces waste through batteries. Let's see, greater scalability makes it easier for GM to offer a broad range of electric vehicles. And hey, some of those might actually be crossovers, including sports cars, trucks, SUVs, things like that. Electric vehicles. Really, we're going to wrap this up here, but it looks like the wireless battery management system is something that will underpin all of GM's electric vehicles and maybe, just maybe, make it so that more people can afford to have these things. Because again, it's going to reduce cost, it's going to improve the longevity, and it's just going to make electric vehicles better. So, Carissa, good story.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's that one. Let's go and talk about this one. And this is one that we've touched on before, but not in this way. Google is all about verifying lately. They love to verify businesses. They love to verify really just kind of logos. So Chris, I think this is before you were on the show, but the last time we heard about Google verifying things was with logos. And I'm not sure if you've ever received those spam/scam emails. The one that sticks out in my head is, let's say for FedEx. They'll have FedEx's logo displayed on the scam email, and so it looks more official. And they'll have, you have a missed package from FedEx, click on this link to track it, and of course you have no package from FedEx, and if you click on the link, it will immediately just destroy your computer. So have you ever seen any of those fake emails that try to fake you out by putting a logo on it?
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't, I don't think it was FedEx. I can't remember what company it was, but I had gotten a couple and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. That's not quite right. Something's off.
One of my friends just got one last night, and she was like, she called me up and she was like, I got an email and it's from Wells Fargo. And I'm like, okay. And she's like,
the one I got was from Wells Fargo. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, Wells Fargo. And they're like, yeah, my account was suspended. And I was like, that's not good. And she's like, well, the only suspicious thing is that I don't have an account with Wells Fargo. So yeah, that's a pretty good indication that it's fake. That's, yeah. So, instances like that, they'll use logos. And of course, what Google was doing, long story short, was that you can now include kind of like a short code within the logo, and Google through Gmail will verify that this sender is from a domain that is owned by Wells Fargo, and it will allow the logo to be displayed by Wells Fargo. Otherwise, it will delete the logo, and it will greatly reduce the chance of people mistaking the company the fake email for the company's email. The point is, Google is working on verifying things so that, there's more accountability. Looks like they're doing another one today, saying that they are now introducing verified calls. There you go. This is a new feature for Android phones that will help legitimate businesses reach their customers by phone by having their brand name and reason for calling properly identified. So this is now called verified calls. Will display the caller's name, logo, a reason that they're calling, and a verification symbol to indicate that the call is verified by Google. And of course, you can see it here as well, which looks like it's going to have a little check mark within a shield. And this is the difference, a 1-800 blank number. And if you're looking at the video portion, you can kind of see here the growing tree bank, which is obviously a fake one. On Android devices, it will have, again, the company name, verified that this is indeed coming from the company and it's not, a scam or anything like that. And then it will give the reason you're calling, including, I know that so often we'll just see, let's say, the doctor's office, and we'll know, oh, they're calling automatically to confirm our appointment. And we have to assume that, but with this new system, it would say it right there on the screen. This is super cool. This is probably something that will catch on. What do you think?
I think so, because even now, it kind of transitioned from, getting your spam calls and things like this at your house phone now to your cell phone. And I don't pick up calls or numbers that I don't know, regardless if they're from my zone or not. If you're not on my phone, I'm not going to pick up the call. I have a South Florida area code, and I know that if my friends ever want to get in touch with me, hey, they hop on WoW or League of Legends or whatever, and they talk me through games. So if I know that if I ever get a 561 area code call, I know 100% for certain it is a fake call, and that happens you know what, let's put a little number to this. This is obviously an attempt to cut down on spam. And Carissa, assuming you didn't read the article, how many spam calls were delivered in 2019 to the US alone? Probably over 1 million.
That's a good guess. That's a very good guess. 61.4 billion spam calls.
I was off.
Billion with a B. Yeah. and by the way, the US, I remember reading about this. The US is actually one of the lower spam call receiving countries. Brazil.
Way.
Yeah, Brazil in particular, because Brazil has no legislation against everyday companies like your gas company hitting you with spam, and it's way that companies can make money over there. So and they have like 3 to 4 times as many spam calls as the US, just in Brazil alone. It's a big problem, and obviously something like this will help with that. So let's see going on here. According to Google's website, the service, businesses can get started with it by partnering with Newstar, Just Call, Telecall, Zenvia. So there's a ton of different services that they can partner with. And of course, these are also places that you go to register your business's, number. So there you go. This can be everything from banking to food delivery. Like imagine if your food person's calling you and they put the reason for calling as, getting directions or things like that. Very, very short snippets of information that will will increase the chances of you picking up the phone and dealing with it. So there you go.
So how do they do that though? Does that give you, do you type it in? Is there like a special app that you use?
Yes. Yeah, I would definitely assume so. And of course, you can see it there. This is through the API. And again, one more time, this is only through Android devices. So there is obviously an underlying system built into the Android operating system that will allow this. This is not for all phones, but I would not be surprised if this becomes standard. It's very, very cool. Definitely. So everyone, music in the background means that we are done. Thank you so much again for tuning into the show. Thank you to Humanscale for, allowing us to interview them. And Carissa, thank you for, of course, being here and finding all these great stories.
My pleasure.
All right. So everyone, thank you so much. So we'll be back next time with more Computer America, more guests, more interviews, more all that good stuff. Everyone, we're just going to wrap it up. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.
See ya.